I'm recording now, I think. Okay. Can you guys see if it's being recorded on your icons? I have way too many things. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So we're trying to do something very basic because we have had talks before where we get a little too complex on everything that we do. So we're trying to make it from the very basics. What we're going to do first is we're going to do the basics. Then I'm going to do like a demo on the local branches. And then we're gonna do, then I'm gonna show you like a visualization of how it works, like it with like a remote and upstream branches. And then both Derek and Joe are gonna show you this in action using GitHub. Okay, so what is Git? Git is a version control system, and that really is used to record all kinds of changes for a specific file. Really, you can do this to any file on your computer, even pictures, like really anything. And why you do that? Usually you do this because you want to be able to like track your changes, right? So like if you keep making changes and then you want to go back to something that you did before, or you want, like, I don't know, you forgot to do something, and I don't really know how to explain it this way, but pretty much it's just to keep track of all your versions. Here's something very funny that used to happen to me a lot when I was in college. I don't know if anybody's familiar with this, when you had like a long paper and then you had to do like, you know, like you were writing this paper that is 20 pages long, and then there were changes that were requested, and then you keep making copies, and then you're afraid that you're going to lose those changes. So I always ended up like this. My desktop will always end up like this, where like I have like my, the title of my file, then I will do like copy 1 and then copy 2, and then it will be called updated, and then I will do another one that was final, and then like this time for real. So you just keep making copies and copies and copies and fill up your desktop just in case, because you were afraid to lose those changes, right? But thanks to GitHub, you don't have to do this anymore. You know, you can just have one file, you can make those changes, you can just like leave a message for you to remind you where you were when you make those changes. So you're always going to be descriptive with your commit messages, and then you can just keep track of all this. And that's what they call it, a version control system. So a lot of people always ask us, like, what's the difference between Git and GitHub? Git is really the system that lives on your computer, and GitHub is like a cloud-based that hosts all these changes. As a developer, we always use this for collaborating, especially. I mean, you can do projects that are only yours, but the good thing about using GitHub is that you can use multiple computers. For example, I work a lot from my laptop or from my desktop. I can just have like my single projects, and I can work from whenever, because all my code lives on GitHub. For collaborating systems, it's like, as you can see, you can see there's like multiple people that can collaborate on that. And there's a flow of things that we're going to explain you a little bit. And obviously GitHub is not the only one, it's the most used one, but there's like tons of others. These are like the most popular ones that I can think of. Bitbucket, AWS has its own, and GitLab. So what's a repo? A repo is really a collection of code. That's your project. That's what we call a repository. Now we're talking about like local repositories and remote repositories. Remote repositories are the ones that allow you to collaborate with somebody, and this will be what will live on GitHub. So then you can work at home, or you work on your computer, you push to the main copy. This person works here, this person push to the same repository, the other person pulls, and then they both keeping each other on sync. So there's some configuration that needs to happen. If you have a Mac, most likely you already have this installed. If you don't, all you have to do is just like do a Git version, and then it will prompt you to everything else you need to do to install it. There's the command for Linux, and for Windows. If you guys can see it there, it's like you get a Mac. I wish Ron was here because he will hate me right now, but he's super, he loves his Windows and he hates the Macs, but yeah. So you really, to use Git, to be able to use Git, you don't need to create a GitHub account. As I said, you can do this on your local computers, 20 files, but if you wanted to make this more on the cloud and you just have all your changes to be safe and live on GitHub, you need to create an account. And there's the configuration commands that you need. This is also going to be on the resources, which is at the end of this presentation deck, and I'm going to share with you guys, so we don't have to worry about this too much. The SSH keys, they're optional. You don't need to have them. Really, even with GitHub, you can just clone a project and you don't need to have them. But if you want to have it like a secure way and you don't have to like log in every time you push to GitHub, this is a good way to do it. And the configuration for this is also at the end. Oh, moving on the other direction. Okay, oops. Wait. Okay, so let's go back to the repositories. There's three states that a repository can have, and one is to be a stage, the other one is to be modified, and the other one is to be committed. We're gonna do a demo on this, but really like all you need to know is like you do a change on a file, you stage it when you like do a git add, then it's kind of like getting prepared to be saved and record on your logs. Once you push it, then it's modified and then you commit it. These are like the most popular commands that we use: git add, git commit, git push, git fetch, git merge, and git pull. Those are the most common ones, but there's tons of other ones. Here's some that I mentioned of the ones that I use the most, really. Git clone is the one that you will do if you want to copy a project. Git branch is really to tell you which branch you are, and we'll get to see this in action. Git log, you can see all your commits, all the commit history. And I just learned about this new one that is git log since the one that you see here since 2 weeks. I just learned about this one when I was putting this presentation together, and it's pretty cool. You can do a time limit on your commit searches if you want for your logs. Git status is usually what I will tell you where you are in your process. If you modify a file, if it got stage, that we're also going to practice with this one. Git checkout -b is to create a new branch. Git stash, this is another super cool one, where you can just like, let's say you're working on something, then you are like, I'm not ready to commit these changes, so you can just save them. It's like if you save them on a drawer, and you can just like, you just say like, I'm gonna use this later. And you can do this multiple times, and you can just like use them back later when you feel like it. Git rebase, this one is a little more complex. I believe Derek might be able to explain it better. I know he loves it. Maybe you can do that one when you do the GitHub demo. Git cherry pick. Cherry pick is like to pick commits from one place to another one, which we do very often. Sometimes you have 2 different branches and you meant to have one commit into another one, and all you have to do is git cherry pick and copy the number, and it will go into that one. Git merge is to put your changes into a desired branch, and git reset hardhead is to remove changes that you have done and you did a commit. But we'll play with this. Let's see. So here's the workflow. Can you guys see my mouse? Yeah, okay. So here's the Git workflow, and pretty much it starts with the working directory. You see here that there's a staging area. There's your local repo. Head is always wherever you are. And there's the remote repo, which is master. This will be what it lives. Your remote will be what it lives on GitHub. So you make a change to a file, you add it. At this point, you are on the staging area. You commit it, and then you push it. Then it goes into master, and then you do a git fetch to like update all the changes. Then you merge it. You pull if you're on a different branch, and it kind of like goes into a circle. Okay, so let's play. I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay, now I'm gonna share a different screen. Okay, just 1 second. Okay. Okay, can everyone see my desktop? Okay. Alrighty, so I have here our repo for the Southwest Florida coders, and we're just gonna play with this with text right now. So we're gonna go into my desktop, and all we're going to do is, I'm not gonna do any cloning or anything, or any copying or pushing to GitHub. That's going to be done by Derek and Joe. But we're just gonna play with a local file on my computer. So we'll just do, let's call this, I don't know, maybe test.md. So now I have the file. Oops, I meant to do that actually on a directory. So I'm just gonna, right here, as you guys can see it, I'm just gonna put it here on a folder. And let's call this git play. Put it here. Okay, so my folder should be in there. So we're gonna do cd into the git play. We're here right now. So currently we're inside of this folder. And if we do ls, we'll be able to see the file that I just created. So now what we're going to do is we're gonna do git init, and that's gonna allow us to keep track of all our changes. So we're right there. And you can see here that by default, it takes you to master. I think it's main in some places, but you can see here that there are all these symbols right here. Usually when it has a space, it's because something has changed. So if I do git status right now, it's telling us that I just made a new file. And I should back up a little bit. You always want to do your git init inside of a folder. I mean, you can do it on your desktop too, but then you will be keeping track of all the changes that are happening on your desktop. So that's why you always want to do it. Inside of a folder, and that's why I throw my file in there. So you see that I created this right here. We're gonna open on my editor. So it's right here. And all I'm going to do is I'm just gonna copy all this content of this file right here. And we're gonna save it. Can everybody see this, or is this too small? Yeah, it's fine. Okay. So we have all these changes right now, and we haven't done anything. But like I say, if we do, we're actually going to use the terminal from here. So we make this a little bigger. Okay, is that good? Oh, somebody. Okay, you guys are muted. Okay, so we're gonna go back to git status again. Oops. And then you can see that this file change because we created it and we added text, right? If we, at this point, this is no stage yet. if we want to stage it, we add this file. So I usually just do this git add everything for this period. If you wanted to add a specific files, you can do git add and then copy the name of the file. But since I only have one, I'm going to use this command. Okay, so now you see that the symbol here changed. And this is obviously different. It depends on your shell or what type of computer you're using. But if we do git status again, then you can see that this is now on green. You see that here was on red and here is on green. And that is happening because now is stage, which means it's getting ready to be, like we're like putting it ready to be committed. So now I'm just gonna commit it and we're gonna do, well, let's just say copy, what is this? Contribute guidelines. Okay, so now you can see it. We just, whoa, what's that? Okay, somebody's having a lot of soda or beer, I guess. All right, so you guys can see that this change, we have this right here. We can now make another change to this. So like, let's say we're going to remove this change in text. Something that I always like to do is git status. I always use it. I do it very often just because you could be changing multiple files and sometimes you don't mean to commit all those files. So I'm gonna make another message. So we're gonna commit it. We're just gonna say we remove, I forgot what it was. I don't know, let's just say remove text. And now we have that. So now if we do git log, we can see both messages that I did. And this is where I started. And these numbers right here are really like, these are called nodes. And they are keeping track of all your history on everything that you do. Now you can work with different branches. Usually this is something that we do a lot at work because nobody makes changes directly to master. Usually you want to work from your own copy. You make a new branch, you work there, that gets approved, and then it goes to master after it passes like all the QA process and everything. And also because your coworkers might be also working from here, so they always want to be like keep pulling and pushing, so everybody has the most updated copy. So I wanted to show you guys something very quick. So there's something that you can do for like see your hidden files, and you can see this right here. You see this git, so we can just open it and we can see how things change. We can see like all the logs here changing. So, oh wait, this is just open actually. Oops. I'm just gonna open on a new window. So this is what it comes when you do git init. You get all these different things. You get the logs. I like to look at this one. There's your commit messages. All these weird things that, like all the IDs and stuff like that. But if you, let's see, if we look at this one right here, I'm just gonna put it here on the side, and you guys gonna see how like every time we make a change, this is gonna continue changing. So let's say, where are we here right now? Oh, I always forget why this creates this, but I'm just gonna get it out. Okay, I can't delete it apparently. Normally we should have this, but I'm just gonna make a change so we can change. We can make a change to the directory. And you guys saw that changed right here, right? There's a new one, there's a new log on the history that I've done. Now I can create a new branch that comes out of this one. Let's just call it future. And even me creating the new branch made a record here. Now I'm on this branch, and there's something that I always like to use because I mean, right now I have this one. You can see that it says future masters. I have this on my configuration on my shell, and you can see it, but not all computers have that. You will have to make that configuration. So usually what you always want to do is like git branch and just see where you are. You can see that there's 2 branches that belong to this directory right now. There's the master, which is the original, but I am right here right now. And you can see because of the little star and obviously because I'm here. We're gonna make a new change to this one. I'm just gonna remove all the initial text. We're gonna save it and we're gonna do the same thing. You see that the file got changed. So we're gonna commit it. And we're gonna say deleted initial text. Now the log went here, but at this moment, master doesn't know about this change because I'm working this on my personal branch, right? So if I go back to master right now, the text is back because that was not deleted there. And if you want to bring those changes into master, now you do a merge. And now it's gone. And now at this point, master and feature, both branches are up to date. Let's see. So that's that for this little demo. This is just the basics. I wanted to show you something very cool that I like. One of the tools that I use. Let me make this bigger. Let's get rid of these. Okay. So there's a tool that I like to use that is called Git length. It's an extension. It's for VS Code, but I know WebStorm has it too, I think. But basically what it does is like, it does this extension so you can see like all the changes that happen in who made the changes on GitHub. So like, for example, if we go here to the front, you see that Derek made this 2 years ago. When you hover over this, you can see his, you can see everything. You can go back in time if you want. Let's see, let's go to, who is another one, 134. This one right here, Gabriel made this one. You can actually go back and forth on the histories. So like, wait, let's do it from here. You can go back with these ones. If you have these options right here, I can go back to how it used to look like before and before and before. And you can see what was different at that point in time versus like when those commits happen versus what you have currently right now. So I don't know, I think that tool is super cool. I find it super helpful. Let's see what else I have for you guys. I have one last one, which is like a visualization tool. Oh wait, before I forget. That one, what is it? This cool command right here. Wait. So this one right here, as I said, this is another repo. This is the repo for Southwest Florida coders. So you can see that if we do git log right here, there's all the commits. There's the one from Ricky. Ricky's in the house right now, but I can see his commits. I can see Derek's commits. I can see Walid's commits. So that's super cool. But the one that I like that I just find out is like this cool commit where you can you can do it by time. So if I want to see a log for the last 2 weeks, you can see that nothing happened because nobody has been working on this repo for a while. But if we change it to like, let's do, when was Oktoberfest, like 6 months ago? So let's just do 8 months. And you can see everything that happened on the time up to now. So that's that. Okay, now we're gonna get out of this one. And now I'll explain how like this works. It's just, this one is super cool. I'm gonna send it to you guys. It's also on the, where's my chat? Here, I'm gonna share this with you. Everybody can play with this. They have like different ones. They have like, just if you just wanna do like Git checkout, Git branch, and all those things, and you can see a visualization of everything that is happening. We're gonna do this one with upstream changes. So as we mentioned, the one with upstream usually means that you have a remote repository. So that will be something like at least something like that is connected via the web. So from GitHub to your local computer. You can see that right now, this mini app here, the green one means that, and head means the branch that you currently are. And you can see that right now there's 2 branches. There's master and there's future. And right now they're up to date with each other. So if I do, I'm gonna make this one a little bigger. Okay. So if I do git branch right here, you can see that I'm on the future branch, which is this one. If let's make a commit to this one. So git commit -m, and let's just call it first commit on future. Oh, I misspelled it. But now you can see that I left the original shape that I had that was the same one as master. I'm one ahead now. So now let's make another one. Let's call it just second commit on future. And now I move one more ahead, right? As I mentioned, this one hasn't made it to master yet. And the way how you do that is by merging. So now we're gonna, let's just do this again, just to make sure where we are on future. So now we're gonna go and go back to master. Yeah, let's go back to master. So now my head is here. Now we are right here, but I want these changes that happen here that I don't have. So all I have to do is git merge future. And now I'm here. And as you can see, it's like all these have little numbers. Those are like the numbers that you saw on the logs on the Git file that I show you. And yeah, I think that's all I have. Derek, Joe.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So what's the plan now? We want to, but why don't we ask if anyone has any questions?
Oh, yes.
Open the floor up. Feel free to unmute or drop something in chat.
Yeah, my question was the rebase thing. Were we gonna the rebase? I didn't know if we were gonna go over that or not. If that was too.
Yeah.
Outside the intro.
Okay. So we got a rebase question.
Yeah. We can go over that. Usually, what happens with rebase is, let's say you're working on a branch or your local branch that you pull out of master, right? And you make tons of commits just for your own sake. But you only mean to have like one of those commits, one nice and clean commit to go to master when you're ready to do your PR. What you do is, and that's why I use it for 2 things. One, to like pick my commits and like make it nice and clean when it goes to master. And the other one, to bring everything that is on master into your branch. So what you will do is like you do like git rebase origin master, and they will bring everything that happened on master that you don't yet have. That's one thing, but it also gives you the options to like pick or fix up commits. Usually we use the fix up for like, let's say you created your own commits, but you only want one, right? You can get rid of all those commits and put them into one. So that way, when you go to master, it's one nice clean commit. Doing rebase though, I feel like sometimes it's a little dangerous if you're not like super familiar, because you rewrite your history on your logs. So you don't really have a way to like go back to some of the commits if you fix them up. Derek, do you have like a better explanation? I know you use it for a bunch of other things too.
Yeah, so there's a few different ways you can handle rebasing. You can rebase what they call interactive, which is in your own commits. And then you can rebase other branches into your branch, which from what I recall, shuffles like everything underneath all your code, right? And then there's a sweet feature in GitHub where you can squash your commits before you get them merged. And the whole idea is that you want like a nice clean history, as what Zarella was saying. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to start like really basic, not basic, because I want to sound like it's easy. This stuff is crazy when you're first learning it. So if you're not following along too well, don't worry about it. So what I have here is I am in terminal, and you don't have to use terminal. I do. There's, as Zarella pointed out, I think you can use all kinds of cool software that takes care of this stuff for you. But here we are. I'm in, you can see if I do pwd, I'll make this bigger, present working directory. I'm in my desktop, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I am one of the owners of this repository. So I'm able to pull this code down right from here. Otherwise, you'd have to do what they call in GitHub is forking. But we're not going to worry about that. This is what you would do in your own account. So what you do is you want to clone this, right? And what I'm going to do is I can choose between what Zarella was talking about, HTTPS and SSH. If you don't have your SSH stuff figured out, then you'll use HTTPS. I think I have my SSH stuff figured out. What I do is I do git clone, and then I paste. There we go. So what just happened? Well, we pulled the code down. So now, what is this? What is this called? Website. If I look for website, is that here? There it is, right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move myself into the website, right? And now I'm in the website repository folder, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to type this command. Oh wait, it's a little shortcut for my code editor, and what it means is like open this current folder. So what we have here is, I don't know if you can see it, but it says what branch we're on. It says master. I do git status, fantastic command. You'll see that we're on the master branch, origin master. So that's good. We can type git log. We can see all of the commits that have happened in here and who's done them. Let's see here. There's Ricky. There's me. Waleed. So just to give you kind of an example, you can do these commits all day long. Won't hurt anything, right? So the question was about rebasing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to another branch because I don't want to make changes in my master branch. I want to keep that clean. So I'm going to do a git checkout, B for branch, and then I'm going to do cool branch. It's like Cool Ranch, like the chips, but with a B in the front. So next, I'm going to go crazy in here, right? I'm going to go, what is this, the README? That looks cool. Okay, so we'll do Cool README changes. Not hurting anything, right? I save it. Remember our get status? Oh, we modified a file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stage that, which means stage that get add means add everything, stage everything in this folder. And then I'm going to commit it. How's this going? Is everyone getting anything out of this?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right. Remember our git log commit? Git log. Up, first commit for the game, right there. Did I blow any mind? So what I can do now is I can push this branch and my new change to GitHub. So let's do that. Git push. If we go over to GitHub, we do a refresh. It's probably gonna tell me I have a new branch. And if I want to set up a pull request, which is like a formal request to, like, I'm asking the folks at Southwest Florida Coders, hey, I have cool code. I want to merge it. I want you to look at it, and if you like it, then I want to move it in. This is a construct within GitHub. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to set up a draft pull request because I'm not ready to merge this yet. And as like a courtesy, I will also put a work in progress type deal in here. So when someone's coming along and looking at pull requests, they'll see that work in progress. They're like, all right, I'm not going to look at that yet. So there we go. We got a draft pull request. If we look at the files changed, we can see here we have a cool README. Remember we did that, and that's it. So what I can do is I can keep working, right? Then maybe I want to change something in one of these code files here. We'll change that to an exclamation point. Very serious. We'll do a get status. Now we have two changes, one in the README, one in that page, right? But let's say I only want to add one of these files. Remember we did the git add. This is what we did last time. Means add everything in this folder. But this time we just want to do everything in all changes in this source folder, right? So we just go git add source. You get status. We can see that green means we staged the source folder, which is everything in it, and then we have the README. But what happens? Like, let's say I actually do want to add everything. Well, I can just do git add and the dot. Well, let's say I just wanted to add the README, right? I'm gonna do git reset. I think it's this. Is it head? Is it like that? No, that's not it.
It's just git reset.
Okay. Now we're back. Nothing staged anymore, right? Okay. So I'm going to do git add README. Oh, they want to. And then git commit M for message. Second commit. So we reset, then we staged just the README, committed that. Now we're going to add this one, commit it. Cool. So now we look at the log here. We have first, second, third commit for the gang. We know the first one. We looked that up. That was in GitHub. If we push, what do we think we'll see in GitHub? Oh, it's telling us to refresh. What do we have here? Okay, we got an exclamation point here, and then we have another thing here. We can look at the commits in this tab here. We can see the commits we made. That red X right there means we didn't pass a process that runs every time we push commits. It's called CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery. And then this yellow dot here means that that process is running currently. And not all repositories have that. By default, none of them do. That's something we've added. And then we can see here, we have just like kind of like the main page of the pull request. So Ricky was asking about, what's it called? Rebasing. So I haven't done this in like 3 years because I just use the squash thing. Which if we wanted to do the squash thing, I'll show you that later, but let's give it a shot. So I'm going to do a git log. And we're going to do what's called an interactive. Come on. Why won't my window? All right, whatever. We're going to do what's called an interactive rebase. So what we're going to do is these messages aren't very helpful, the first, second, and third. So what we're going to do is we're going to squash all these and then have a nice, succinct commit message. So what I do is, you see this here, it says commit. It's called a SHA. It's like a very special alphanumeric like sequence of characters. It's a way to identify this one commit. And you can see here, this is the last commit on Origin Master, which is in GitHub right now in the master branch. So I'm going to copy this commit, right? And then I'm going to just type this. Hold on to your butts. We go git rebase I for interactive SHA. And then I think what we do now, this is, so what we're in is like in this thing called VI right now. And it's a little cryptic, but we'll make it happen. So I can move around with, but I can't type anything. Oh shoot, what did I do? Oh, D. Oh no. Hold on a second.
Yeah, you can press U for undo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, save my bacon there. Okay. So all right, let's not press D. So what I'm doing is I'm moving around, but I can't type really anything. I can't add anything to this yet. So until I do I for insert. Right. Yeah. And then I think what I want to do here is I want to remove this P. And I'll put S for squash. And I'm going to pick the first commit and squash all the other ones. Or is it the other way around, Joe?
This is new for me. I haven't used this.
Wait, what did you just ask?
I'm squashing all but one commit. I think I want.
You usually want to squash, it's like they glue to the top one.
So I pick the top one, right? The first commit.
Yeah, that's what the legend seems to suggest.
That will be pick and the other ones will be S.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to press escape to get out of insert. And then I'm going to do W and Q. I press the colon button, see at the bottom, I'm going to W, Q. Write and quit. That's a new one. Nothing coming. Okay, so something happened with the VI. Everyone writes bugs sometimes, I guess. We had to hit a button, or I did something weird. So let's try it again. I'm going to hit the up arrow on my keyboard, gets me back to my rebase command. And I'm not going to do any weird stuff like pressing D. And I'm going to do S. I'm going to hit escape and I'm going to colon, right, quit. There we go. That's what we expected to have happen. Next thing, we get to choose what our commit message is going to be. So you see the things with the hash symbols here. Those are comments. That's not going to show up in your commit, right? But third commit, second commit, and first commit are all going to show up in one commit message. So again, we want to make this like a nice, succinct commit message. So, I'm going to press I, and there's probably a cooler way to do this, but I'm just going to hold down the delete button. Okay. Same thing. I pressed escape to get out of that insert mode, and then I press the colon button, and then I'm going to do write and then quit. Boom. Let's check out this sweet commit message history. So now you can see we only have, for those 3 commits, we have 1 commit, and it's a better commit message. And this may seem trivial to you, but when you have a lot of people writing commit messages like updates thing, update this, update that, and then you get all those messages going into your repository, you end up with like thousands of commit messages. And if you have a bug, it's going to be super tough to figure out where the bug occurred and if you can roll back to that and deploy. So that was an example of how to rebase, but we aren't out of the woods yet, because we have to send this commit message to GitHub. And GitHub is basically just a web app for Git, and they have a different history than we do. And this is what Zarella was alluding to, was that it's a destructive command. It changes history, which can get a little dicey. So let's see what happens when we push. Rejected. Updates were rejected because the tip of your current branch is behind its remote counterpart. Integrate the remote changes. And just for like an experiment, I think, you know, sometimes for years I've seen this message and I'm like, whatever, I know what to do. But I'm going to look at the log real quick, and I'm going to copy the SHA, and I'm going to look, is this? No, it's completely different. So what I'm doing is I'm searching for this SHA, and I guess it created just a completely new SHA. So we have a totally different history. So what I would do in this situation, especially since I'm in my own branch, that's very important. If you don't ever do this to the master branch, is I just do this. I go git push F, and I'm a little paranoid. I'm going to make sure I'm in the right branch. Cool branch. Yep. Git push F for force. And there we go. There's our commit. That's cool that it updated real time like that. Didn't have to refresh. Any questions on that? And if not, or if would anyone like me to go over something again, or show something else?
So on that, when you did the squash and put all of those 3 commits together, is that something that in the real world, would there be like a person responsible for that kind of thing if they were going to do that sort of thing, so that people weren't just continuously throwing things together without anybody's knowledge? Or is there any regulation on that, I guess, within businesses or something?
So normally what would happen is you would be running in your own branch, and then you would squash your own stuff, and then that would get merged into that one nice commit with a nice message would get merged into the main branch.
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, you would be responsible for squashing your own commits. And the one way you can do that without going through all that craziness and messing with VI is you could remember we're in this is the pull request that I opened up. It's a draft. I can say it's ready for review. And now what the hell's going on here? See this button right here? Squash and merge. What I could do is you can choose create a merge commit, squash and merge, or rebase and merge. The one commit from this branch will be rebased and added to the base branch. And so that's stuff that GitHub just does for you. And if I had multiple commits, let's see what happens. Get rid of this, change it back. Change all this back. Right, those are kind of commits, add stuff. I do those just all the time, like because I'm like, like at my day job, we have a crazy CI/CD process. Takes like 15 minutes to run. And so, and our test suite takes the bulk of that, right? And so what I'll do is I'll send off the code and then let the CI/CD pipeline run. And then if it comes back with failed tests, then I'll fix those tests and then just send like that fix out there. And it's like, I don't really care. I'm just like fixing a thing, you know? So I'll just do like add stuff. Right. And then I have 2 commits, right? Let's see what happens if I do this. If I do squash, okay, cool. So I just click squash and merge, which is my default. GitHub figured out that I like doing that. And then you'll see here, just like in rebase, but instead of doing like skip and like pick, we just have this to choose from. So then I would do like, make like a nice commit message. And then I would do confirm, squash, and merge. And that would go right into the master branch with that commit message. But what I normally do, actually, not to confuse things, but what I would normally do is remove, I would do that and then just not have anything at all here. But that's in GitHub. Don't let that blow your mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I guess the kind of grand plan or whatever, what I was thinking in my mind was when you push that and it gets merged, does everybody else see the squash that you did, or I mean, does that change everybody else when they're looking at when they pull?
Let's find out. No files changed. Can I even, here, I'll just do this. Okay, so I just merged that. So we have work in progress, which I wish I'd gotten rid of the work in progress. It sucks, but whatever. It's in history now. Oh no, there you go. Cool Ricky commit message. So there it is, right? And let's look at the commits and look at our commit history. Really nice, right? 54 commits. That's not a lot. We've had a lot of people committing to this, and see how clean it is and how succinct it is. And I can go to each commit message and know that like what each thing does. It's nice, right? So what I'll do now is I'll go back to here, back to my terminal here. My favorite, I think Zerella's too, is git status, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go git checkout master. Now we're at master. Fun little, a nice little hack here. You can toggle back and forth. By that, you just go git checkout hyphen. Go back and forth. That's a nice one.
What? I didn't know that.
That is a nice one.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave now. I got what I wanted.
There you
No,
go.
I'm just kidding. You're always looking for the nuggets, right? That's a good one right there.
So we're on master. So what I would do now is pull, and you can see we've updated some stuff. Let's look at the log for master. And we have cool Ricky commit message. And so what we do is we just kind of keep that cycle. You picking up on that? We branch off of master, push up to GitHub, keep adding code, rebase, everything's good, put that into master, pull down, and then branch off that. So it's kind of like this like circular thing going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So then it does. So then it would change it for anybody else after it's been merged when they.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like when as you as an engineer working, or whatever you want to call yourself, working on a project with other people, right? When you're going to be assigned a feature, or and they're going to say, okay, we want this thing, and you'll usually name your branch, like, you know, with the ticket number or whatever at the beginning, and then the name of the feature. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull down the latest from master, and then create a branch with a good branch name, usually ticket number, then the branch name. And then you're going to write your code, and you're going to push it up to GitHub, and your manager or dev lead or whatever is going to look at the code, give you feedback, whatever. And then once it's good to go, you're going to squash your commits, and then you're going to merge it into master. and then it's just going to keep going like that. And people will just
So they likely never would have seen the other commits that you squashed before you did it anyway.
right.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Can I ask a question, Derek?
Of course.
Thank you. So, as I understand it, like you said, you've got a feature you've been assigned. You pull down, you create your branch, and you're working on it. Now you're not in that scenario you just shared with Ricky. You're not pushing each one of these commits, correct? Because the way I thought I seen you do it, you threw me a curveball at the end there, was the workflow would be something like this. I'd pull down master, I'd create my branch based upon my feature. And let's say I'm working on that through the day and I've got several commits, like the 3 commits you used. Then before and maybe it's more, maybe it's 15 commits that I've got in my local environment. Then before I would push it for review, I would rebase and squash, so that my manager is only seeing the end result, right? I didn't think the manager saw all the other commits in GitHub, right? Where they're reviewing my commit. I thought rebasing and squashing happened on my local prior to me committing, as a way of just kind of, like you mentioned several times, cleaning up my commits. Because through the day I'm working on this, and then I'm looking at them all and thinking, man, this is a big mess. Let me squash and rebase these before I push it up, to the next level for QA or whatever it is to review. What did I, and maybe we were saying the same thing, but did anything I say kind of draw a red flag that no, I wasn't tracking with you?
I think we're on the same page. One thing though that you may be implying, that I've heard other people ask, is they think once they submit a pull request, that's it. They can't update it. They can't change it. And that's not the case. What I'll often do is I'll use the pull request. So this is my day job. This is a company, I work for the Veterans Affairs, VA, and it's an open source project. And so this is like me working, like right now, so I have like a succinct, like nice description of like what's going on here. And then you can see I have like a few commits going on, and you can see that they're like just not that helpful. And then I have the files change. So what I'll do often is I will be working on something for a long time or not really sure where I'm at with the project. I'll push it to GitHub and submit a pull request just so I can see what's different. Like, oh, I see, like what's going on here. And then I'll keep pushing to it. So I will, for my day job, I just squash in GitHub personally. Does that kind of?
Well, it sounded like a different process altogether. Now I know you're doing one through the GUI and you're doing one from the command line, right? But you got the PR part in there, the pull request component to what you're teaching and sharing. It seems like it's just a bigger picture of how rebase fits into that. But just to isolate rebase to teach it, I just saw it prior to this as a way of cleaning up my commits before I'm going to do a push. Then could be then a PR could be created from that. So that, I think that's what it confused me. These look like a bunch of commits that then you were viewing them from your end and then doing the squash or merge, the squash and merge versus the rebase and merge at GitHub, right? Which was a separate process. So I think it was those two processes and how did they overlap? And you were kind of taking on one hat and putting on another one, right? Which is that was excellent, right? Because you're trying to show us multi-facets of the process. But the rebase specifically, I was under the impression it was really just to clean up your commits before a push. But it sounds like it's much more sophisticated than that. There's a lot more to it.
There is, and I think I could do something like this. What you would
what did the Git community do before rebase, or has rebase been there from the beginning?
Man, I don't know.
It seems like a relatively new thing, maybe a year ago or so, when I first heard the term, or maybe a little bit longer than that. But before that, I hadn't really heard about it.
Tell you what, let's mess with something real quick. I'm in this like this folder. I wanted to show you all like pulling down code. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually go into my version of the project that I was working actively on. So I think I would do, you don't have to worry about this stuff, but if you want, I mean, you know, I don't want to melt your brain. And it was, okay. So I'm in the same, like, I'm in just in a different folder, but it's the same project because I had pulled it down to show you the pull down process. So I want to see what branches I have. So, okay, good. So I have a few branches here. So another cool thing about rebase is, let's see what happens. This could get messy. You saw an interactive rebase, which is we're squashing all the stuff, you know, in my branch, just my commits. But you can also rebase other branches into yours. So if I go to, I'm in master, I'm going to do a pull. Oh, okay. So a little nuance here. This is a forked branch. Hold on a second. Just bear with me.
I feel like we're gonna need a whole other talk just for rebase.
Right.
Because there's tons of things that you can do with it.
Okay, I gotta move that over to the side. Actually, I don't know if it's still there. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Okay.
Derek, could you like do it on the visualize tool that we had? It will show like a clear map of what is happening actually.
What tool?
The visualizer, the Git visualizer. It's on the chat.
Oh.
Git school. Yeah, that was nice.
You can play with that one and you'll see how, like, I think there's like, I can't remember if there's a rebase in there too, but you should be able to do it.
I want to show this real quick though. And I can't, and I wrote like a, little write-up. There's a cheat sheet from November 12th, 2020. Is this it? No. And then, shoot. I forget how to bring in forks. Off the top of my head, I forget what the commands are. My windows are a mess. Let me search in here. Oh man. Let's see if I can just Google it real quick. This is crazy. Okay.
You can use the, I actually just tried doing the rebase on the visualizer. Is super cool.
Okay.
Yeah, here I'll post the link again so you guys can see it.
See what this does. Oh, I'm in the, well, this just went off the rails. And then syncing a fork, do that, and then git checkout main, git checkout master. Okay. and then git merge upstream. For us, it's going to be master because they changed the name from main to master. So there's our stuff. There's the thing. So now our branch is up to date. Our master branch is. So what we were, just to recap, what we're going to try to do is rebase a branch into another branch. But before I do that, I'm going to look at what Zarilla sent me. Oh, how do I? Oh no.
It's on the chat on the
Website?
Zoom chat.
Oh, it's in Zoom chat.
Yeah. And actually, it's a great example of see like what happens to your history and why sometimes you want to be careful when you use rebase. Or I can share my screen very quick.
I don't know where chat is.
It's because you're sharing.
Oh, I can't see chat when I'm sharing?
It's like hidden. So no, you have to do, where do you see it? Okay, I'll share my screen very quick.
I pulled it up.
Okay, you have it. Do you want me to share or you want to share it?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
Okay. So you can do an interactive here because we don't really have the commits, but just wait, written history. Do git branch there? Do you have like, oh, interesting. Do we all have different copies? Mine looks different.
Yeah, I feel like it's local to the user, isn't it?
That's what I thought.
Wow, look at that.
Okay, so just do.
How does it know my, what?
It's pulling from your own stuff because mine is really in the future branch that I created.
That's crazy. How does it know what branch? Did I?
Yeah, that's what I'm like, what? I just realized that. I'm like, why mine looks different?
Well,
Yeah, that's.
let me, well, okay, how about this? I'm going to just see if it works real quick. So I'm, okay, yeah, I'm in the branch. I'm in the project that I've been in for a while.
I just lost my chat.
And then there's your branches ahead of. So I just pushed it to my fork. So I just updated this right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at all the branches I have right now. And then I'm going to check out update dependencies. Okay. Git log. Add stuff, add changes, add stuff. Sounds about right. And then git rebase. I don't know what I think it should work. Git rebase master. Failed. Okay, so it failed. Usually I do something like this. This git rebase abort. Just bail out. Okay. Let's pick a better branch. It's like, okay. Last try. Cool. So sorry, I got a little rough there, but what I did was let's see what we see. So we do cool Ricky commit message, and then let's take a look at this. This branch is even with Southwest Florida coders. And then let's look at the commits. And so this isn't really a good example. What I'd need is like newer commits, I think, and it would have brought the commits from master underneath mine. But and the problem we were having with the other branches was that there had been things changed in those that were changed in master, and so it was creating conflict, which is like we could just do like a whole talk on that stuff probably.
I'd like to show something very quick.
Sure.
Let me share my screen very quick. Oh, I think you have to stop sharing. Okay. Just gonna share this one. Okay, can everyone see it? Okay, if you guys recall earlier, what I was doing is like I created another branch that came out of here that was feature. And I did 2 logs on it. So they disappear, I think, right now. But if we do just very quick git branch, I am on feature and I'm gonna make one more commit. So git commit, I can't really do files here because this is a visualizing tool, and I cannot do the interactive either because I tried it and it doesn't work, but we can still see how rebase works. So I'm just gonna make okay. So I'm here right now, right? I'm on the feature branch and master is right here. So what happens when I rebase from master? And check it out. Okay, you guys saw that? So what happened is like unfortunately I can't do the interactive like Derek was showing because we don't have files here, so I can't really like do that. But what you saw, what happened is like we were here, and then it's like, okay, but I want everything that was on master. So what I did is like this rebase thing, got rid of all these ones. That's why they're empty now. And now I am like with whatever master has, but with my changes. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, that's good visual. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically just changing the base of your branch.
Yes, but it brings everything that is from master. So like, let's say somebody else let's say Joe was working on another branch and he put everything on master, right? And now it's kind of like the merge, but it gets rid of like, it rewrites the history. So it makes it like into something new. But the interactive version that Derek was showing you guys, just so you know, you don't have to use Vim. You can also do the configuration on your editor, which it looks much prettier in my opinion. And it's just much easier to see it for me anyways. Vim is like Derek super advanced on this. So for him it's like easier, but for me, at least, I always get stuck on Vim, on like trying to do the P and the S. When you do it on your editor, it's super quick. You just do clicks and it's all done for you. But the other reason why at my work, anyways, we use rebase, like Doug was saying, is like, yeah, it's a way to clean up before you push it to master, or before you open your pull request. Actually, it's because a lot of times you could be working on a feature. At my job, for example, if you work on a feature, your feature could be touching like 20 files, right? And they don't want a commit of everything you've been doing. They just want like, I added this new feature and this is what it's supposed to do. That's all they care. They don't care that you change something in one file, you change something else in another file, but sometimes features touch a lot of files. And for your own sake, you want to keep commit messages so you can go back in time and like revert changes if you need to. That's why those, like, the way I see it is like those commit messages are for me, kind of to keep it clean. And I actually use, instead of using the squash, I actually use something that is called fix up, where like pretty much they all get glued to the top, and you don't even see those messages anymore ever. It's like they just disappear, and they all become one long commit message for like 20 files. And when you do your pull request, they see all those files were related to the one feature. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you guys should play with this, because I just was pretty amazing that Derek just pulled it and it's all the branches that he created locally. same for me. So that's pretty cool.
So is it only doing this if the commits that you had there when you did the rebase were not pushed yet? Or would that do it with anything as long as you hadn't done another pull since the last time you did since you pushed a commit?
Wait, can you repeat that again?
So if all of the commits that were there when you did the rebase
Yeah.
Were not pushed, then they would get included. What if any of them had already been pushed? Would it still include those in there since it's part of your?
Even if you pushed it, you pushed it to your local copy, to your remote copy.
Right, to the remote copy,
yeah, because that's just your branch.
Okay.
So even if you pushed it, and once you like do your rebase, and then you pick which commits you want, it's like it disappears.
Oh, cool. Okay.
You know what I mean? But
because it knows that it's local pushed, and so it's all there anyway. It doesn't care.
Yeah, even if it's local or remote, those commits is still there if you push them.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyone else have other questions? Yeah, stop sharing. I hope we didn't make it too confused. It's like, this thing is hard, really. It's really just about practice. Like even rebasing for me was like super scary at the beginning, but we start using it at work all the time. And it's super scary because like you are rewriting history. And if you just like, if you like, let's say somebody meant to say like, oh, I want this to change. And it was something that you did, but you already rebased it and you don't have that commit anymore. You know what I mean? What you do. And that's kind of why you kind of have to like practice a lot before you use it, just so you don't mess up things up.
Is there a way to save those commits on your branch off to the side? That way, if you rebased and something messed up, you already had those sitting off to the side, and then you could just pick that into your branch?
You could make another copy of the branch.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could also just include copious notes, I suppose, in your commit, right? With all the, I mean, you're not limited. I think it just, if you're over at GitHub, then instead of looking at just, 30 different, commits, you've got just one that's fairly verbose. That's what I would think. If I was concerned about losing information, I could just remove those comments and just leave all the commits right in that one pull. I don't know. I mean, that's just a thought I had. What do you think, Zarella? Does that make sense? Would that help with that anxiety that I can totally understand with maybe losing some information?
Yeah. I mean, Git is free. You can just have like as many copies. And that's why it's like the cool idea of having branches, right? We talk about cherry pick too. You can like make a branch out of the branch that you were working, bring some of the changes that you want, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why it's really so powerful, because you can have like so many versions of everything, and you don't have to worry about it. Now there's some companies, at least at my job, we didn't used to use rebase all the time. Before we use rebase, it's like you just do a clean commit messages, clean commit messages, and you can always revert and go back in time. So that's another way to do it. But I will encourage anybody to, even if you're working on your personal project, to do like nice clean commit messages, especially if you're going to look for a job later on. A lot of times, your lead engineer is going to look at your GitHub. It's going to look what repos you have, how your commit messages are. Some people don't care, but some others do. So even if you do like a small project, I would really say try to have your GitHub busy. A lot of people like to see that you are like been doing projects when, even while you were looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
One thing to kind of keep in mind, and it's been a while since I've done like tutorials on GitHub, or Git rather, but like a commit is just a reference. A commit references like the previous commit, and that one references the previous commit. And all a branch is, from what I understand, is like essentially like a commit. So what you can do is you can do crazy stuff. You can check out actual commits and then branch off those. and you can get really wild. There's a guy, there's a really good, man, Doug, I think you would be really into this one. It's what's that tutorial service that owns Code School? Pluralsight. There's a really good tutorial video series on like kind of like the inner workings of Git and how, you know, like fundamentally like how it works. And I watched that at least once, I think a couple times, and it's helped me kind of understand the plumbing.
What was the name of it again?
I'll send you a link to it.
Okay, thank you.
The guy that did it, he wrote this great Ruby, just Ruby book called Meta Programming in Ruby. And he does a really wonderful job. I think he's like from Spain or something. So he's got like a nice accent and everything. So I'll get you that.
Oh, it helps.
I've also just added to the chat the deck of my presentation. There's the resources. I think you should check it out. Is that the link to the Git visualization is there. I also talk parts of this tutorial that is like learn Git in 10 minutes, which is very fun to read. The guy does a very good job and like super fun. That's who I copied the get a Mac command from. But yeah, I think you guys should check it out. Git lengths, like I say, Git lengths, that tool too, super cool. Where is this one? Does anyone else have other questions, or can we go to the raffle now?
I think the most important question that everyone's wondering is, what's that aircraft on your desktop there, Derek?
Well, let's all guess. I'm going to say an F-18.
Okay.
Anybody else? I'm probably wrong. There's too much going on there. It's got to be something bigger. Yeah, I'm probably wrong. It's got to be something bigger.
All right.
TIE fighter? No idea.
It's a tough.
SR-71 Blackbird.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I knew it was bigger.
Man, that's cool.
That's a spy plane.
The finest airplane.
Yeah, the metal on that thing expands like 6 inches or something silly, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I think that was like part of the name that Elon Musk